rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To all my viewers out there, as usual, always pray for the blessing and mercy of the Almighty Allah upon all my viewers everywhere, including those that have subscribed and those that are yet to subscribe my YouTube channel. I told you this channel has to do completely with anything that has to do with nutrition and dieting. At the first stage of diet, I was able to explain different types of diet, how diet appears and looks like before you start prescribing it or recommending it for different type of people. The first one I talk about clear liquid diet, which is purely liquid, no residue, no shaft, like sugar water, Lipton water, coconut water, fruit and vegetable juices brought from meat and fish and so on. They are referred to as clear liquid diet. And I also talk about full liquid diet, which it's a little bit thicker than clear liquid diet, like pap and puddings of different series. I also talk about I told you also about soft diet like pottage and so on. Then I talk about solid and hard foods. All these are just the appearance of diet, which can be fixed into different disease conditions. You cannot just give somebody plan menu for somebody without knowing the appearance, how that diet is definitely going to look like. It has to look like either clear liquid, soft, or full liquid, hard diet before start recommending. Okay, let's start with let's say a food that you need to give to somebody after post-surgery. You need clear liquid diet. Then the person will then move forward to a full liquid diet, and then soft diet before start eating solid and hard diet. Apart from all this food looking like this, the second part of different type of diet has to do with what that diet contains, what's going to be the constituency of that diet, the components of that diet, the nutrients that will be present in that diet before you recommend it to other people. Let's say, for example, fat control diet. When we say fat control diet, it depends on the level of obesity or the cardiovascular diseases or any disease condition that don't need fat, then you control. Then you need to control the diet. Number one, let's say somebody that is obese, you control, you reduce the fat. That fat is called fat control diet. Maybe a tablespoon, which is about 5 grams of fat, or 5 ml of fat being present in that milk, that will only give 45 kilocalories. Then that means we are maintaining the fat intake of that person. And there are people that need very high fatty food, like people that are already malnourished completely. Most of their body have wasted. There's severely mass waste within the body tissue. They need high fat diet, like people that are anorexic, like anorexia young people, they need fat diet. Then you increase their fat intake. So this, as you plan this diet and you put in this fat according to the needs of every individual, then that diet is referred to fat control diet. Then we have protein control diet too, like children that need higher protein, maybe to prevent kwashiorkor or marasmic kwashiorkor, protein energy malnutrition. You control the protein intake of the children. And there are people that don't need too much protein. They have excess nitrogen in their system after carrying out tests of excess protein in the body. You know, protein, the end product of all proteinous food, is a component called amino acids. If it's excess in the food, you take it to excess, the amino acids then will then be converted back to fatty acid and accumulate into the system as toxins. So we control protein. Ideally, protein should be taken 1 gram of protein per or 1.2 gram of protein per body weight of somebody. Then that person will meet up with the recommended proteinous intake, except in a condition where that person has diminished totally or wasted, that will increase the protein intake, or when a condition of surgery or injury that will need to replace protein for body building, because protein helps in replacing lost tissue. Okay, and then when we check into this method of planning this diet, we quantify it. We quantify the food to give us accurately the amount of protein we need for that patient. We don't just say go and take proteinous food because you have problem that you need protein to replace lost tissue. No, it might be hyper, then leading to other disease condition. which is not right in diet. In dietetics, we quantify and we meet up with somebody recommended intake. Then the next, like examples of our proteinous food are legumes, nuts, meat and meat products, fish, eggs, and some vegetables. These are examples of proteinous food, and we can get them different types within our locality. Then we talk about carbohydrate control diet. That is, you control the carbohydrate in this diet. The diet can appear anyhow. It can look soft, it can look hard, solid, or even clear looking, but whatever the carbohydrate content inside, you are controlling it, because you need to give everybody according to the recommended intake. People need carbohydrate for energy, as 1 gram of carbohydrate gives us 4 kilocalories, so we need it. Also, 1 gram of fat gives us 9 kilocalories, as 1 gram of protein gives 4 kilocalories. So we need these calories, we need carbohydrates to store energy. So it depends on the total need of someone. You cannot just start giving people carbohydrate food without checking into their age, their height, their age, their weight, and their level of physical activity. Then we talk about calorie control diet. Calories simply mean the energy one stores in your body after eating any type of food for that day. After digestion, absorption, then the calorie that is stored in your system, will control it. Some people need high calorie, people that are very, very extremely active, like the sport people, all these laborers, people that work extremely, will increase their calorie up to even 3,000 kilocalories, even more than, depending on that person's level of physical activity. Then we control calorie downward too, if you don't need it, like people that are diabetes in nature. Okay, obesity people with high severe cardiovascular disorder, we control their calorie down. We reduce it down with a lot of fruits and vegetables. It depends on how the food looks like. But the main part of it is that the calorie we look for, we hit at the target, so that not complicate the disease, because in dietetics it's very, very complicated, that if you do not quantify to meet up that person recommended intake, instead of managing, you might be damaging the person the more. After all this nutrient control, we control sodium. That is salt intake. The diet might look anyhow, might look soft, hard, but what about the sodium content inside? Check for the sodium content depending on that person's need. There are people that have to take food that are sodium restricted, and we check for foods that have low sodium and prepare for them. People again with high cardiovascular disease, like severe cardiac arrest, heart attack, and so on, high blood pressure, will reduce their sodium content to as low as maybe 400 micrograms of sodium, because the ideal sodium for a normal healthy person is 2,500 micrograms of sodium, equivalent to about a teaspoon every day. So control it. So we don't just say reduce salt. Let's control. Let's manage it. We manage it and give it to that person, and then the person will start responding to treatment positively. Then the next type of diet we can talk about again, after sodium control diet, there are people that are lactose intolerance. It's a form of diet too. Anything that has to do with milk, animal milk and dairy products, that don't take it, because the system cannot digest it and be absorbed into the body. They lack the enzyme lactase that is present in everybody. So people that don't have lactase cannot digest milk. So we cut it off. But are we going to leave them like that? As a dietitian, a qualified dietitian, we talk to a patient that has lactose intolerance, because we need calcium. We need other nutrients that we got from milk. They'll go for alternative. That is, in dietetics, we have what we call exchange list. We exchange animal product, dairy product, and milk to plant product of milk. We can produce coconut milk, and then when we produce coconut milk or tiger nut milk, soya beans milk, there's so many plant milk origin there. Then we fortify, because fortification is allowed in dieting. We fortify this milk with other food that has some nutrients that are not present in this milk, plant origin milk product, like baobab palm. Baobab palm, that is kuka, popularly known as kuka fruit. It's very, very high in calcium. That we need to fortify all this milk with baobab palm and boost the person's calcium intake. We can add dates to give it sweet taste, and then boost the person's iron intake. Okay, and also we have a kind of diet again. We call it people that are gluten intolerant. or gluten enteropathy. Gluten is a kind of protein that are found in food products like cereals, like wheat, rye, or barley. So food like that, there are people that cannot tolerate that protein in it called gluten. In a layman word, we say gluten is that substance in all this food that give it that elasticity. When you produce food that are made from wheat, like spaghetti, macaroni, couscous, and all these noodles, all these semovita, salmonella, flour, product made from flours, are all product from which that has gluten. There are people, patients that cannot tolerate it. All we do is we plan diet for them and cut all this off so that they can eat normal. We exchange instead of preparing salmonella. You prepare acha swallow for them, they have the same taste. Plantain swallow is there, have the same taste. So all this diet, let me stop here so that we can continue with types of diet part 3. I'm still dietitian Aisha to Yusuf. Go to my channel, Aisha Nutri Diet. Thank you and stay in peace. Don't forget to subscribe and then share. Thank you very much.